Hello everyone, welcome back to Ramon at Home. I'm so excited you're here today because as you guys can see, we got started with fall this year, fall season 2026. It is so far so good. This is a wreath that we did on our private group, Ramon at Home Masterclass on Facebook. I want to invite you to come and join us on Facebook, a masterclass private group. There is a post that is pinned to the top on Facebook. You can follow instructions and come and join if you want to learn weekly DIY ideas. It is a lot of fun. But in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 fabulous fall DIYs that are super fun, and I cannot wait for you guys to watch. So if you are interested in all things fall decorating, holiday decorating, please stay tuned. Don't forget to like this video and share with your friends on the Facebook, on the Instagram, and on the WhatsApp. Why? Well, because it is free and it really helps this channel. And I also want to take a second to thank this month's members. You guys, thank you so much for joining. Your contribution really helps out to continue to produce these videos. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you. All right, we're gonna get started with a gorgeous fall centerpiece DIY. Let's take a look. All right, you guys, so we're gonna get started with a beautiful fall centerpiece DIY, and I'm super excited about this one because we're going to do it in a larger container. So what I'm going to use is obviously one of these battery operated candles, also the hurricane. It's so important that we bring it in so that we know where's it gonna sit, but I'm gonna put it to the side right now. We're going to use a piece of garland that I already spray painted with a little bit of lavender spray paint, so that way it changes and we don't see a lot of the greenery. I'm also obviously gonna use some foam, and then this little flat surface that I just went ahead and taped it to, so that way it stays in place. I'm gonna use my pick machine, wire cutters and scissors, and the foliages and flowers we'll talk about as we get started. All right, so now the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to wrap our garland around our centerpiece like this, and we want to make sure that it's really tight. So we have to cut really at the size that we need, and then by grabbing 2 bristles, one of each side, we're basically just going to do like a little wreath on our garland. And then we're going to also have to measure where we want our candle hurricane to be. So I'm going to do a little marking like this. So I'm just going to go side to side and back and forward. So that way I know, and I have that circle where all of this is going to sit once we are done with our centerpiece. But for now, as we work, I'm going to put it to the side so that way I have more space to work and I don't have to worry about that tumbling down and breaking. All right, so now what we want to do is we're going to flap our garland, and like I said, this is going to be just so that we have some foliage to attach to, and then also to cover the mechanics. So the very first thing I'm going to bring is going to be some of this gorgeous foliage that I got from, I think this was from a content creator on YouTube, and I have already pre-cut it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick some of these guys right here, and I'm going to start by adding some of this at the circle where I started. Remember to respect that circle because that's where our hurricane is going to sit at. So remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, and I do believe these are a little too long for my taste, so I'm going to cut a little bit of it. I believe this is a pepperberry, if I'm not mistaken, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So whatever happens on the right happens on the left, and immediately we're gonna spin it around about 180 degrees, and then I'm going to add a new pick to this one. And because I did this on the top, now I'm gonna move to the bottom right here. So I'm going to insert to my foam right here. And I absolutely love this greenery because it already has some brown in it, so it kind of looks like it's turning, just how greenery looks like in the wild when it's turning from summer to fall. And so this is a fall centerpiece, and I figured that that would be perfect for it. So I'm going to add another one right here. So remember, and then we're gonna spin around and we're gonna continue creating that cross right here. So we're gonna add one right here, and I'm going to add another one over on this side, making sure that goes all the way down. And so now I'm going to go back down. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, and then also what goes up must come down, but at the same time, everything that goes in must come out, and that's what's going to give you the balance on your centerpiece. Now this is going to get a little large because that's what I intended it to be a larger centerpiece, more bountiful and beautiful. And the way we do that is just by adding, look how big that got. This is going to be absolutely gorgeous. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some of my fall foliages, and for that I selected this foliage from Hobby Lobby. This has a gorgeous orange feel to it, and it's going to add a lot of that fall feel to our centerpiece. So I'm gonna start right here on the top, and remember to respect that circle because that's where the hurricane is going to go. And so we're gonna add like that, and we're basically going to repeat the same thing. What goes up must come down. Then immediately I'm going to go like this, and I'm gonna twist around, and I'm gonna create that cross all the way around the perimeter of my centerpiece. And you guys, I am so excited because we just got done doing this gorgeous fall tree on my masterclass group on Facebook. If you don't know, I have a private group on Facebook that you can join. If you want to join, all you have to do is go to my Facebook page, look for the post pinned to the top, read the instructions, and then come and join the fun, like I said. So we just finished this tree and we had a lot of fun, me and Jamison, filming this. And by the way, give it up for Jamison, you guys. So many of you, I've been reading your comments about the wine and everybody's so interested about the wine because Jamison is a sommelier, and we are thinking about something to come up with something so that way we can serve you better and then bring those wine tastings to you, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. So many of you have sent us messages about you being interested on all of this content. So give it up for Jamison, who's behind the camera. Come and say hi. Oh my goodness. You come and say hi to your peeps.
And we're back.
And we're back. So I know that you love to read the comments, right?
Yes, oh yes.
What do you think about the people?
Everyone's excited. It's fall, but Christmas in July, and Christmas is already here.
Christmas is booming. Mm-hmm. All right, well, thank you.
And we have wine stuff coming.
We got some wine stuff. Everybody's been asking about Jamison's wine stuff, and so now we're going to get to it. We're going to find a way to make it fun and accessible. For those who don't know, Jamison is a certified sommelier, which means a wine connoisseur, and he should know his wine better than anyone. All right, so now you guys, I have this foliage, this larger foliage from Hobby Lobby. I absolutely love it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce some of this foliage. I just thought it would be so much fun because it is large and in charge. Look how pretty this is. This came from Hobby Lobby, and it covers a lot of your perimeter. And so basically what you want to do is like down, up, down, and then I'm going to add another one right here. I'm going to continue to go around and then up, down, up, down. And what I like about this foliage is that it's large and it's going to cover a lot of that perimeter on your centerpiece. So basically what we're going to do is add one up and down, and we're gonna create that X. Ooh, I almost dropped one. We're gonna create that X onto our centerpiece like this by going around. We also use this foliage. It comes in this green and then also in a very beautiful orange for fall. And I just think it's different, it's beautiful, and I love to use some things that are new, and this is one thing that they had new this year at Hobby Lobby. And so basically what you do is up and down, and we're going to continue to go all the way around like this. Look how fun that is. All right, so now that we have most of our foliages in, what we're going to do is we're going to bring our hurricane in. We're going to place it into place. It kind of give us an idea of what it's looking like. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some sunflowers. These are larger sunflowers, and I just absolutely love how large and in charge they are. So I'm going to cut a little bit of the stem. I'm going to cut and make it clean so I can do a clean cut. Now I'm going to put one right here, like so. Then I'm going to spin around, and then I'm going to cut a second one kind of short, and then I'm going to go right in here. So you want to kind of start doing one down, one up, just how we were doing with the foliages. Now we're going to do with the centerpiece. Now this comes with this foliage. Don't pitch it, just go ahead and put it right there somewhere. That's going to give us more of the natural look to it. So I'm going to add this one right here. I'm going to continue spinning around. Just remember up, down, so that way you have some interest on your centerpiece. And so I'm going to go right about here. And then this one I'm going to add, it's a little long, but I'm gonna cut it short. The shorter we cut it, the closer you can get to the base and the more surface is going to cover on your centerpiece, right? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some of this smaller sunflower from David Christopher, and we're gonna use it almost like a flyaway. So I'm gonna cut right here, and I'm gonna cut right here. So we're gonna get 3 out of the deal, actually 4, and we count this cute little bud. So what we're going to do is cut like this. So you have this bud, and I'm gonna put it probably right about here. And like I said, these are going to be our flyaways. Look how much bigger this got right here. Just cut all of that excess flower. So we don't want to cut them too short because we want to make sure that they fly on the air. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin around a little bit. Ooh, I just dropped one. And I'm going to add this guy right around here. See how, because it is a different color of sunflower, it just adds so much texture, and I just absolutely love it. Be sure to play with it, give it a little bit of a curvature. And so basically what I'm doing is going in between all of my sunflowers. I'm gonna grab another one and I'm gonna share with you to cut again. Let's see, we're going to do this one right here. So there's one. Then we're going to do this one right here. That's 2, 3, and then this bud that I'm always telling you to use. Also, if you want to learn a trick, here's one. If you don't have a stem, but you want to, okay, so we'll do it again. So in order to cut this stem right here, it is where it's marked. So you're gonna push almost all the way to the wire without cutting the wire. And so we're gonna push, 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 push until we have done like a little circle around it. And so now what we're going to do is we're gonna grab this guy right here and we're going to spin it around. And we're gonna continue to spin until you cut all of that plastic around. And that's if you don't have a pick machine, that's going to allow us to expose that wire that it comes with, and it's going to make a clean insertion. So I'm gonna add this guy right here. I'm gonna grab this guy, and I just love all of the flyaways, and I love the variety of sunflowers. Like I said, it just adds so much texture to your centerpiece, and it's really making it look like fall. I'm gonna add this one right here, and I'm going to cut this one a little bit shorter, so maybe right about there, and then I'm gonna bring it over here. So that's what all of our flowers look like. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab a few gourds, and I added a stick right here, and I'm just gonna add a few pumpkins and gourds. So one right there, I'm gonna spin it around. This one has a longer stem, so we're gonna cut it a little shorter. So I'm gonna bring this guy closer to my candle right over on this side. Then we're gonna spin around. And I have a few of the smaller ones, so we're going to grab a skewer. If I have one, let me see. Oh, I'm gonna just go on the floor. These are, don't pitch them, they come in handy sometimes. And that's just the nature of crafting. So you put a little stem right here, and I'm going to introduce one right there. And I'm going to continue to go around and around and see where do I need one over here. So basically just poke it in, and we're gonna poke into the foam. All right, you guys, so now the last step is going to be to add a few loops of this burlap ribbon. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna give me very simple 1-loop bows with 1 or 2 tails. So I'm gonna cut right here at an angle, and I only want a few, kinda to just match the tree behind me. So basically what I'm going to do is 1 single loop like that. You're going to grab this wire, and what we're going to do is we're going to attach it real quick to a stem like this. And the way we do that is we swirl that wire around until you can no longer swirl. And so that's going to be our stem. Now I'm gonna cut it a little shorter, like this. And now I'm gonna look for a spot where I think this particular one should live. And I think it's going to be right around here. And this, just a little touch of burlap, I'll show you, it just makes it look a little more organic. And I just love it. So I'm gonna dovetail this guy right here, one more. And so I'm going to bring that loop up. Look, it was perfect, perfect cut. I'm gonna twist around, and I'm gonna twist to me. I'm gonna grab this wire. And to me, it's all about the accents. And to me, you know, at the end of the day, it just creates more texture, and it adds an accent to it. So like I was saying, combining the elements that we have, by example, on the tree and then put on the centerpieces. It makes your home look more cohesive, and it just adds accents to your home that it just looks more well put together. So I'm gonna cut this a little bit shorter. I feel like this particular tail is just a little long. This one a little bit too. And there's no problem by adjusting, you guys. You can always readjust where you want it. And because we put one right here, I'm gonna go over on this side, over here. I'm going to add this cute little burlap bow. Look at that, it makes it look organic, it makes it look cute. And so now I have this particular tooth tail that I'm going to add. I'm gonna grab a wire right here, and I'm gonna go through right here, open it, then I'm going to pull, and that's going to give us the two tails. How cute is that? And now I have to go down and get me another little stem. You guys, always try and use as much as you can from your product because you already paid for it. Why not, right? So I'm going to go like this, and I'm gonna cut at an angle so I can have a clean insertion. And so now I'm going to add these two tails over on this side, like so. And just like that, we're going to turn our little candle on, and you guys have a gorgeous centerpiece that it's full, it is bountiful. All we have to do is add a few sunflowers, a few foliages in different colors of the autumn season, like the greens, the browns, the oranges. Of course, a few gourds and pumpkins to make it look even more fall. At the end, some of these gorgeous tails of burlap just to add a little bit more character, and you too can create a gorgeous centerpiece like this for your home this holiday season. I really hope that you give it a try and that you enjoy this gorgeous fall centerpiece DIY that I brought to you courtesy of Ramon at Home. Okay, so for this DIY, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to move my lantern over to this side because I want to share with you how easy it is to put a swag together for a lantern, you guys. This is a beautiful decorating tool for the seasons. I like to use it for spring, for summer, for fall, and of course for the holidays. So if you do not have a lantern, I recommend you invest on one. Now, we already show you how to create a beautiful fall lantern that is massive and overscale. Let's take a quick look. Now, this glue that I'm using is the Gorilla Glue, and you can find that on Amazon, or you can also order it from Walmart.com. I know they have it. That's where I get mine. My Walmart does have it in person, so I'm lucky enough that I can just walk in there and get some. Look how pretty this is. It looks so autumn. I just love the colors. I love the textures, but what it does really need is going to be some sunflowers and floral. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some sunflowers and some beautiful mocha daisies, and I'm gonna start with my sunflowers right here. I want them to be a little shorter, so I pre-cut all of them. So I'm gonna start with this one right here on the very top. Remember to work with sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. And so because that's the top, that's our crescendo, then I'm going to, oh, I said crescendo, listen to me, a Sunday word. All right, so I'm gonna add one right here. Then I'm going to add yet another one right here. See, that's going to create my focal point. And then I can work my way back out. As you guys can see, that lantern was absolutely gorgeous, full with beautiful foliages, and it was perfect for outside. But this particular lantern is going to be perfect for your island. An entryway table, a coffee table, a side table is just the perfect size. All right, you guys, and remember that lantern is going to be linked in the description box below. So we're going to start with one of these foliages from David Christopher's. What I like about this foliage is because it's really easy to pull. So I'm going to start with one hanging down like this, and then I'm going to grab one that I pulled out. I'm going to go ahead and put it coming out like this. We're going to give it a little bit of a curvature so that way it stays like that. Now, I don't like this stem being so long, so I'm going to cut a little bit of it. Perfect. So that now you don't see it, all you see is the foliage. So now I'm gonna grab a different type of foliage and I'm going to weave it in just so it gives it a little bit more substance on the bottom. I want the air and the beautiful fly away to go to the top. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring yet another sprig, like this particular one, which is from Hobby Lobby, and we're going to introduce this guy right about here. And so now I'm going to introduce another one onto the bottom. Now notice that I'm never letting go of my core. Remember that any place where we hang on to our swags, that's our core, that's where we're going to tie in, and that's what everything needs to flow out of, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a beautiful peony. These peonies are from Hobby Lobby, and you guys, look how absolutely gorgeous these are. So you insert one facing up, you insert one facing down, so that way we have all of the elements in the same spot, all right? So now I'm going to zip tie all of this together, and you guys need to know that I always buy zip ties by the bulk. I go to Home Depot and I buy a bulk of black and a bulk of white because they're so helpful for what we do. If you're a crafter, you need to have your wire, your zip ties, and your wire cutters and scissors. Now I'm gonna put that to the side real quick because we're going to make a quick bow. For that, I'm going to need a wire. So let me put one out of my stash right here. Now they're down here because they're so long they don't fit in my drawer. So that's why I always, let me get a wire and I have to go down. But I want to talk to you about this ribbon. You guys, this ribbon is from Hobby Lobby. And look, this is from last year. And every time that I do a project and I take that project apart, I always roll it like this because that way I can reuse it. So I'm always all about reusing some of your materials if we properly store them. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna just let it go on the floor. I'm gonna grab my scissors real quick and I'm going to do a fresh cut onto my ribbon. I'm gonna cut at an angle. Remember that any ribbon that is 2.5 inches down, like 1.5, 1/7/8 of an inch, I always have trouble remember that. So it is 7/8 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch. All right, so we're gonna start with a cute little tail. Then we're going to go up, pinch, 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 gather. And even though this ribbon doesn't have a print, I always like to twist because it is easier for me to just keep practicing. So there's our 2 loops. So I'm going to do another one. I'm going to go down and then I'm going to pinch, 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 twist. And we're going to go up like this. I think I'm gonna do a 5-loop bow. Yeah, I'm gonna do a 5-loop bow. Apparently this ribbon was cut for a 5-loop bow. And I absolutely love the way this looks with the flower because it is the same color. Now I have these tails right here that I already pre-cut, so I'm going to introduce them. And with the wire that I already have, what I'm going to do, so I'm going to squish all of this like this. And I'm going to give it one quick twist. But before I tie it too tight, what I need to do is introduce my longer wire because that's what's going to help us go through our lantern. So basically what I need to do is just poke this wire through here before we go too tight on it. And you guys, I always forget to do this part, so I'm gonna have to undo my, there you go. It's easier if I just undo it. You're supposed to do it before with twist, but you know, I was trying to be smart about it. So now here we go. So now what we need to do is wire all of this right here together. Just swirl it real quick to attach those 2 like this. And then now we're going to fluff all of our tails, all of our bows. And we're going to give all of this a fresh cut because remember, this is a recycled ribbon. So when you use a recycled ribbon, I always recommend to give them all a fresh cut. That way, all of that, when it comes unraveling, it's just all fresh. All of your tails are going to look absolutely gorgeous. All right, so now that I have my bow and my tails like this, and look what I like about this ribbon, it just curls so beautifully. Anywhere you put it, see this one I didn't give a fresh cut, and because it's unraveling, but a fresh cut will do that to your ribbon. So now I'm gonna grab my swag and I'm going to introduce my bow. Look how cute. I can't. Oh, where's my wire? Here's my wire over here. I'm practicing my southern accent since we're moving to the south. Can you imagine a Mexican in the south? A Mexican southern accent. Ooh. All right, so now we're gonna twist right here, like so. And we're going to use, like I said, this wire to go through our lantern right here, through this part of the lantern, and I'm going to swirl my wire around, and I'm going to attach it to the back like this. And so now we need to, I'm gonna face it to me so that I can fluff. I need to bring one of those tails kind of forward to this side under the flower, and just give it a little twist like this. And this particular one also needs to go right here under the flower so it can coming down. All right, you guys, I'm gonna put a candle in and I'll be right back to show you the end result. Keep watching. And look how simple it is to create a beautiful lantern decorated for fall, you guys. It is not that hard by just adding a few stems of beautiful foliages, a cute bow, and some florals in the fall colors, and you too can create a beautiful statement in your entryway table on your island or somewhere around your home. I really do want you to give it a try. It is super simple, and I absolutely love lanterns. What else can I say? So now that you guys have some ideas on how to decorate a beautiful lantern, I want to share with you how to add ribbon to a pre-existing wreath. This wreath you're about to see is one of the wreaths that we did on our private group. And so now I'm just gonna share with you how you can transform a fall wreath by adding just a little bit of ribbon. Let's take a look. All right, you guys, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add a few tails of this beautiful burlap ribbon. This is from Hobby Lobby, and I just love how thick it is and how rich it looks against the fall colors. So we're gonna give it a dovetail, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few bows. So I want to start with probably about a 5-inch tail, and then about a 6-inch loop. We're gonna spin around, and we're going to add a, I think I'm gonna do a 3-loop bow. Yeah, because that will look more rich. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut right here at a dovetail, and you guys are good. Burlap ribbon is really hard to come by, so I found this one at Hobby Lobby. I'm thinking of Shinoda because we just finished doing Christmas there. And so now what I'm going to do is separate my 3 bows, and I'm gonna find spots like right here, and I'm going to add this bow right in here. And then I'm gonna go back and attach. And once we attach this with our wire, what you want to do is fluff. Bring that flower forward, fluff your bow like this, bring this flower right here. So basically just weave it in. Let's do it one more time. So I'm gonna grab this burlap ribbon. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I'm gonna cut right here. And then this one, it's pretty fussy. I'm gonna grab this tail. I always like to do it facing forward, and then I like to go up, pinch and gather. Right here, we're gonna bring another loop up like this, and then twist one more time. So that will give us the 3-loop bow. Now we're gonna grab another of these wires, and we're going to wire all of this together right here. So now that we have this, we're going to dovetail one more time. And we can always adjust all of these tails right here. So I'm gonna go maybe right about here. I'm gonna open up. I'm gonna get it off the stand because it's easier for me to manipulate, to go back like this, and then you can really twist it really hard. Like this. And so now we can put it back onto the stand, because we do have to fluff this bow to make sure that the flowers are showing. Remember, the flowers are the stars of the show. The ribbon is just a little, well, accent. I'm gonna cut this a little shorter, like that. And that tail I like there. And so now I'm gonna bring one down here. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna fold this in half, dovetail going up, have this tail come forward to me, and then go up with my ribbon, pinch and gather. There has to be this finger right in between, because that's where you pinch, twist, and then you get that finger out. Then you go up, pinch, twist, gather, up. Pinch, twist, gather. And now we cut this tail right here, a little shorter than the other one, because the other one I went a little crazy with how long it was. And now we pinch this really tight. Once that is pinch tied, then we can fluff this bow like this. Look how pretty. And so I'm gonna go probably right about here. And once again, I want to go through all of my flowers, and then I'm going to secure my bow. And so now we want to fluff this bow, making sure that I go through my flowers, that the flowers show, making sure that tail goes back like that. Look how pretty. It's all about the finessing right here. And so that ribbon really just added a lot of beautiful textures, but I do feel like I need a few more tails. So how am I gonna add those? Well, I'm going to cut a piece of ribbon like this. I'm just gonna do a few so that I can show you how to do it. Then we fold in half, we dovetail this right here, and then we're gonna grab one of these pre-wire skewers that you can find at any local craft store, and we're going to put right here and really tightly create those bunny ears, separate them so you have two like this, and then we're gonna grab a little bit of glue and we're gonna find a spot like right here to add some tails. Look at that, how pretty. So we're gonna add one here, one here. I'll give it a fluff and show you the end result at the door. Keep watching. All right, you guys, so here is this beautiful wreath with a burlap ribbon, all of the gorgeous terracotta flowers, and of course, this beautiful grass. Oh my God, I am obsessed. Check out all that tiny little accent flower. But what I really love is the placement of the burlap ribbon. I really think that it adds a lot to it. And as you guys can see, it is super easy. Just make some bows, some extra tails, and weave them in through your wreath. It creates a full feeling, and I just absolutely love it. All right, you guys, well, that's all I have for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I cannot wait to come back with even more full decorating DIYs, tips and tricks, and I really hope to see you here next week. Remember, we're getting together on this YouTube channel every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and if you want to see even more DIYs, we are doing live videos, tutorials. They are live on my private group, Ramon at Home Masterclass on Facebook. Thank you guys so much for watching. Consider subscribing, and as always, you can watch more videos right now. Until next time, bye.